Okay, so I think I'm just going to go with making my own marks in the clay to make it look like it's a curl. So I'm just going to use this rubber tip tool, and also flat metal tool is awesome for this as well. This side I have mostly shaped as it needs to be. I need to help it out a little bit. But before I go on to the curls there, I wanted to show you. Here I'm just kind of just drawing in lines and kind of just making the hair wavy. And I'll probably just do this for a long time and just kind of play around with it and see what looks good. So I can go bigger up here to kind of give the full shape of the whole head. And then after I kind of shape that a bit, then I can draw in the lines for hair too. I want to make the side a little bit bigger, I think, so it looks more even to the other. But other than that, we're pretty close to where we want to be. Once I get done with this, I'm going to be going through with my brush. In fact, I'll probably go through on this join line between the forehead and the wig first before I really even get very far on the wig with all the lines. And just make sure that's nice and smooth. And then down here needs to be super smooth too, because this is skin rather than hair. So I want it to look nice and smooth. And then I'll go through and probably draw some lines like this to kind of make this look like hair too. So now it's just go crazy with details. Then I'll give him a bow and he'll be about done. Alright, so that's how he's coming along. I've been using the flat metal tool, and also just my wooden tool is great for making these little hairlines. And I just keep adding to it and adjusting it. I really, I haven't done it before, so I'm just kind of winging it and see how it goes. But so far, I'm liking the results. And I need to give him a bow in the back here, but I'm going to first keep getting the rest of this straightened out. You can tell on these rolls of hair, I kind of just added clay right to them to make them bigger. And so I still have a lot I need to clean up back here too. And then just kind of smooth it all out. He's looking kind of cool. I'm happy about it. So here he is with a lot more detail work, and I just wanted to go over a couple things that I did. I added a little bit of hair right here so it could kind of curl into these curls, so it looks like it's attached to the head and then curling out. And then with these ends, I just keep going back over them and making them thinner each time so it doesn't look like it is just some crepes rolled up. We want it to look more like hair. And then I've gone through and drawn little lines on each side of the curls. And I find it works best if I kind of do it at an angle coming out and then at an angle going up. So it kind of helps to emphasize the roundness of this. And so now I'm just going over it all with a little brush, kind of helping to get the clay to smooth back out. And then I will go over it again with a detail tool, like my flat metal tool or a little ball stylus or the rubber tip tool, to kind of get these little details to still show. But right now I'm using just a little bit of the orange smoothing gel and just trying to get all the clay to smooth and make sure I have nice transitions, like from the curls to the hair or whatever else. And I still need to give him a bow in the back. But other than that, I've gotten most of his hair all lined a little bit and given it some shape and dimension. You can take these little brushes and it really helps to soften all the line work you've done. So I'll finish up with a brushwork and make him a bow, and then we'll bake him. So I've made this little bow by taking a rectangle of clay that's pretty thin and then just kind of pinching in the center and letting the sides kind of flare out a bit. And so this is probably about as sculpted as it's going to be before I add it to his hair. But I just wanted to let you know how I did that. And then I'll just add in some detail once I have it on. That's looking a little bit on the big side, so I might trim it first. Alright, here he is. I just took the heat gun to him so I wouldn't ruin the details, but I wanted to go over what I did with this bow for you. And pretty much I just stuck it in place, then used a ball stylus to kind of press towards the center. And then I took my flat metal tool and kind of pressed in from the sides too. And that's all there was to it. Okay, so I put these elastics on him just so these arms will stay in place for a minute so I can see what he looks like. Because now I need to figure out the neck for the head here. And I want it to be able to sink down into this hole, which is probably best to use a piece of clay that I've stuck in there and then baked. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this now. But I'm happy with how the head turned out and he looks nice. So that's the important part. Now I just need to make that connection. So I will let you know what I figure out. Alright, so I've gotten the top of this wet, and that will be a barrier between these two clays. And so then I'm just going to push in this piece of clay to kind of make a mold. And then I'll just kind of lift it up gently, and then I've got that to work with. Okay, so I made this little donut shape, and it was pressed into here, and I took it out gently and baked it. And so I want to embed this thing in the bottom of the head. That way that connection will already be correct. So I very gently cut his neck since it was still unbaked. I really just tried to bake the top part of his head. And I'm having to be so careful because with a soft bake head, I could crack it so easily. So just be super careful if you're doing it this way. And now I'm going to fill in clay all around this neck. And I've also put Sculpey Bacon Bond up through here too, so it will help this piece stay in place.